and welcome to The League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
And today we're talking about the Hallowed Seamstress Gwen, who was released April 15th, 2021. Our newest. Yeah. She's not the newest champ as of today, but the newest one we've ever done.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, it is wild.
Yeah. I hate her so much.
Yeah.
Are we talking gameplay or lore?
All
Just
of it.
The whole package? All right.
Yeah.
No, the lore is fine, but I think I was immediately disappointed because I heard on Twitter, I saw that they were like announcing like a doll come to life champion, and I was stoked. And then it was just another cute blue-haired anime girl. Really big disappointment there.
Yeah, we're kind of very much in the throes of this. You remember Dude Apocalypse, where like is like Darius and then like 4 other juggernauts got released as new champions? We're kind of in a weird state like that, where a lot of the champion releases. I mean, Action is just, I was like, oh, man, just another one, right? In this long line of very pretty human champions.
Yeah, I've heard that Riot says that monsters or unattractive champions don't sell as well. I don't know. I don't have the numbers here. I can't say anything. But all I know is that the newest releases are always pretty busted. So maybe just make them busted and people will buy them.
That's true. That's all it takes.
You just double up. Why not, right? But
Yeah, but I guess I was expecting like my favorite Orianna skin, that like the ragdoll one or whatever it's called. I love that Orianna skin. I was hoping for something like that, like kind of creepy.
And I do know that was one of the big reasons they opted against leaning more into the doll thing.
What? You
Was
can
to avoid
distinguish them.
The comparisons to the Orianna kind of living doll.
Oh, that's
stereotype.
bullshit. So, but you can just make her a cute little
She
fucking
can be
lady
League of Legends' first cute, attractive lady champion.
in a dress.
Right.
Yeah, with her back bent, like someone stabbed her.
you know, I think I would be more willing to go along with that if her lore was really compelling, and it was like, we have a really unique character that needs to be this to convey it, but it's not. And I don't, I was thinking about this because I had seen that before, that sort of explanation, and I think to me, and Rebecca, you play a ton of Orianna, so you can tell me if this rings true. A lot of what sells Orianna as a doll type is more the animation and the way that she moves, and I would say also her VO, things that I don't think there would have been as much
VO.
overlap on. Yeah, with Gwen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially given the very different personality types between
The two
of them.
And they have different weapons, so you wouldn't confuse them in game. I assume she would move a little bit more like Tibbers, who's like a stuffed animal. That's how I was kind of imagining it. She was kind of a floppy doll come to life. Not a robot. I don't know.
Yeah, there's enough room for 2 dolls. Sorry.
We could have 2 dolls in League.
Give us our dolls.
It's just an Orianna skin, even. It's just one skin. And it's like not even one that's played very much. Sorry, we don't have a lot to talk about, so let's just get the bitching out of the way now.
Oh,
And
there's
when I
gonna be
say
more
that,
bitching.
I was going to say, maybe let's begin the bitching now. So on the Riot Universe page, there is a bio and a short story. There's also something called the Roots of Ruin, which kind of just seems to be like a graph connecting all of the edgelords involved in the Ruination. Because
Almost all the edges, leaving out the most important edgelord that's part of the Ruination event.
What?
Which is what is likely to be the next champion.
Oh,
is he edgy?
I would assume.
My favorite edgelord.
Oh, hold on. Maybe
the
I'm...
Yordle?
Oh, the Yordle!
Come on, Vex. Oh.
I wouldn't argue that Vex is the most... I would think Viego was kind of the most important edgelord in the Ruination, but...
Maybe the most important, but not the best edgelord.
No, that's true. Vex is the only parts of the Ruination event right now going on in the client that I've enjoyed in any way. She's made me laugh. I'm really excited for a goth. Like, she's like me when I was 15 as a Yordle, and I'm really excited to play that.
But let's not skip over the most important segment.
Oh?
Who has quotes prepared?
I don't. I've never heard her in my life, but you two do.
Sure, yeah.
I chose one based in irony.
Okay, I hope you both picked the same quote.
God, that'd be wild. All right, now I want you to go first. All right, hit me with it.
Sure. Still can't believe I get to move my hands and feet all on my own.
Okay, we
Adorable.
don't have the same one this time.
Okay.
The black mist won't hurt anyone, I promise.
Oh, fuck. She fucked that up.
Yeah, you really fucked that one up, Gwen.
All right. Well, now that hearing your impressions, I feel like I could very easily do an impression. I used to be a doll, and now I'm not. Hooray! Was that good?
That's
That was
actually pretty
perfect.
good.
Is that an actual quote, or did you
No,
you
I just
say
made it
that
up.
shit?
I figured that was some dumb shit Gwen would say.
That would be on brand.
Why does she have this posh accent? No one else from the area does.
Because, stuff and stuff.
I think they're pretty inconsistent with accents, I guess, in
Accents-
like regions, right? They don't
Regional
care.
accents are
Yeah.
inconsistent.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah.
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 I guess I get it.
The accents seem to mirror like the last names more than the regions.
She's got no last name. She's just Gwen. What do we... yeah.
Gwen Potter.
I mean, then you give her the name that all the musicians with one name have. All those
Right.
posh
All
British
right, go ahead.
musicians
Do a
like
Cher.
Bono.
Do a Cher impression for us, John. Anyway, so the bio, I have zero. I've gone through every single note that I've had so far on Gwen already because that's how prepared I am this week. I'm tired.
I have a lot of notes.
Oh, hell yeah. All right.
Not specifically maybe about the story though.
Okay.
So does someone want to take us through the story? And
I
then,
thought we were going to do
the bio.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, the
story of the bio.
The story of the bio. Okay.
Story of the bio.
I do have story
Why?
beat
Okay.
notes. But we could just sit here and sing it to each other, I suppose.
All right, sing me the bio, John.
Okay. Summary. What was it? So Gwen,
Sure.
like we all know, was a doll before she was... She got a doll before you can run. I don't know. She's a doll.
Like they say.
Fucking
You've
no.
got a doll before you can run.
Oh, man. She's a doll. She's a doll for about 1,000 years. She was created by Isolde, who is the big, person. That's the person that Viego's kind of gone crazy and is trying to find, and that's the whole cause of, that's what drives all the Ruination crap. So she's got a very strong connection to Isolde. She was still a doll. I don't know how exactly that works, but, eventually, after some millennia pass, she just wakes up on the beach alive, and she's turned to a living girl. She finds the tools, like Isolde's, seamstress, whatever, the tools used to make her, and then all of a sudden she gets attacked by some black mist, and it's wraiths, and she turns the tools into spectral, scissors, jeez. And during the fight, she kind of remembers Viego and kind of what's happened a bit more, because her memories, she's got video game protagonist amnesia, so she
Yeah,
doesn't
right.
know what's going on, really. And she
God,
feels...
she's even got the blue hair.
yeah.
And her hometown got destroyed. Oh shit.
This could be a really good Kingdom Hearts, right? Let's say that, I suppose. I don't know.
You just said the words really good Kingdom Hearts together, Mark.
Right?
Dare you.
Jumbo shrimp.
John.
But anyway, and then the other big to-do, I guess, is that she kind of feels a part of Isolde's soul inside her, and so she recognizes that she's still kind of there, even though she's kind of also dead or undead or something like that. And she resolves to stop the black mist. To not much success, I guess.
She's gonna get it.
I guess she kind of is helping. I wouldn't even say. I mean, we could use this episode also to bitch about the Ruination event going on the client, because every time we are in game and playing together, at some point we'll all go quiet and I'll just hear us furiously clicking through the story, and then occasionally we'll be like, "What the fuck is this?" I've started skipping. I feel really bad, but it's not interesting. And Gwen's whole role in this thing, she's supposed to be a pretty big deal, I assume. But she's just standing there yes, let's do it. Oh, cool. Hooray.
I'll
She's
make
the
your
team's
clothes.
hairdresser and seamstress.
Right?
She brings this team together. Otherwise, they would be color clashing left and right. Oh, it'd be a disaster.
Oh my God,
Sure.
they've been prepping for this thing for so long. And it's it feels so slapped together, right? I don't know.
It does. It's very strange.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of good breakdowns of various posts on the subreddit, kind of explaining
Okay.
a lot of the problems. There's there's so many we could go into. It is a good question, I guess. Caveat, I guess, is that who knows how much their plans got fucked, right? Like Ruin King was supposed to have been out by now, but I mean, don't get me wrong, that doesn't, like, you still got to stick the landing, right? It's just grain of salt, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think, like, having been part of it on the inside, like, big events like this, too, it's not like one team doing it. It's like a collaboration, or I'm putting this in air quotes. It is a collaboration between, like, over a dozen teams, some of which are usually better at communicating than others. So you do often end up with situations like this where there's big kind of disconnects between the quality of one part of the event and the quality of another part. But yeah, I agree. I have not been super enjoying the lore, especially because the main storyline of the Ruination, and honestly, we should probably just do a Ruination episode, but just real quick, the storyline seems like it's probably canon. Like, this is stuff that's actually happening in the real Runeterra Prime universe. But the individual interactions that the characters are having within this event do not seem canon at all. They're, like, out of character and weird, and people are places they shouldn't be, and it's very weird. And yeah, the fact that you are a character in it, which, let's be honest, we know that our decisions don't matter.
No.
We're going to get the same resulting story prompt at the end either way.
You tell me Santa's not fucking real next, man. What's up?
This isn't a Mass Effect game.
Yeah. But, whatever. I have thoughts about the bio.
Oh, okay. Please go
for
to
sure.
it.
So, there's a lot of magic hand waving here.
Ooh, I have that exact same note.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like word for fucking word. Yes.
What's really great about all this is we cannot at any point use the excuse, it's some old lore, it doesn't really get love right now. This is fucking brand new, and she was created as part of a massive event that they're rolling out now.
Yes. It's, honestly, like, I am fine with magic hand waving. It's all right, like, whatever. But if you're okay saying, like, she was a doll and now she's human, obviously, because of things and stuff, why can't you just make Mundo's skin purple without needing to tell us why? Leave Mundo alone.
Shit. That's making me more upset thinking about it in that way.
Right. But, like, some questions I have. Obviously, the whole turning into a human thing had something to do with Isolde's consciousness being put in her body, probably.
Well, part of it. She's like a Horcrux now, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting. Because, like, I think
filthy
Senna has a
Horcrux.
piece.
Yeah. But that being said, she clearly had consciousness before. She had memories as a doll.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
What? How?
Is it all toy? Is it like Toy Story?
Is it
in this
everything
world?
that Isolde makes? Because if so, where's the Isolde the Toy Maker champion? I'm going to need that shit if she just throws consciousness into every doll she makes.
That'd be a good
Actually, that sounds, kind of like a Heimer-like almost.
Yeah, she throws out different toys.
Right?
Old Yorick.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh. And why did she lie dormant for centuries before awakening? Now, I know that, like, I actually, like, looked into this to try and figure it out, because I know that it had something to do with probably when Viego awakened, like, maybe she did too. And Viego was more like, seemed to coincide more when Senna got pulled out of the lantern and had bits of Isolde in her and all that good stuff. But when, like, in one of the cinematics for Gwen, when Isolde dies, kind of, you see her split into a bunch of little rays of light, which in one of those little rays of light kind of shoots into Gwen as a doll later in the cinematic. But it's, and then she, like, turns into a person. But she didn't turn into a person when Isolde died. She turned into a person like 1,000 years after Isolde died.
And what would have happened if she hadn't washed up on the beach? She was still just in the ocean when she was awakened. Would she just have drowned?
just picture that anime girl just floating there in the ocean.
Man, we could have almost gotten a zombie anime girl as this champion.
Oh God,
Actually, that would have been
cool
really
as hell.
good. That would have been you know what it is? That would have been the twist. That would have been the way to put that third heat on her, right? And make her interesting. I don't know.
Another question I had, and she has this question herself in her lore, how long is this going to last? If we combine all the pieces of Isolde's soul, does she go back into being a doll again? Because a lot of her VO and character is, I'm going to live up life while I can, because who knows how long this gift will last. But we don't really know the rules of how long the gift will last. Maybe the soul will be pulled out and she'll be a doll. Maybe it'll be pulled out and she'll be fine. We don't have the same stakes that we had with Galio, where we know exactly at what point he's going to stop being a person and he's got to live his shit up too before he becomes a statue for another millennium. Like, we have no idea what the stakes of her life is.
I would be okay with that if I thought we were going to get more answers after the Ruination event, but I don't think we are.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting it.
That's kind of the feeling I got, was at least some of these things, I think specifically around the mechanisms through her coming to life, will probably get fully unveiled when we get whatever the full clear picture is in terms of these Isolde shards that are floating around, right?
Yeah.
Which might in turn also answer your question around what are the rules essentially around like how she's alive and when does that end? We might get those answers, but still, it leaves it in a really weak spot, it feels like.
Yeah, because you're obviously not gonna gangplank us at the end of the event. If the soul pulls out, you're not gonna just delete Gwen from the game because she's a doll
do
again.
it though. That would be great.
How would you feel? I was just gonna say, how would you feel about the idea of a character being canonically like dead, not coming back, but still in the game?
I wouldn't mind.
Would that be confusing for like people just trying to understand what's going on?
It wouldn't be confusing, but like, I think the ship has sailed on that one. I think they have tried too hard to connect the lore in kind of a way that makes sense that I don't know if they can just kill a character off anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, just a thought.
I had another question too, and this is more about Isolde, I guess. This is more I don't know, just kind of throwing a little shade at Isolde. In the cinematic, it kind of looks like, I don't know how old she was when she made Gwen. The cinematic kind of makes it seem like she was at least in her late teens. Is that fair? Especially because she got. Yeah,
I was gonna say early 20s, even. Yeah, she certainly looks like a maybe a young woman at youngest.
Now,
I know what you're talking about.
I don't.
Gwen talks about how in her memories, Isolde used to take her under the kitchen table and they would play war and pretend that she was how fucking old was she when she was doing this?
That's really funny. Yeah, because based on the bio, you think that Isolde made her when she was like 9 or 10, maybe
You'd
at the
think
oldest.
so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoy picturing a 22-year-old playing with her doll under the kitchen table.
Someday I'll be a princess.
Everyone around Viego's like, oh no, this, no. This, no. Yeah, it's a little weird. I think that's just maybe a little that's probably just like talking about miscommunication. That was probably a miscommunication between these two pieces, right?
Like we said, 12 different teams trying to put this shit together.
Yeah,
no one told the cinematic team that after she built this toy, she was going to play under it like a toddler, under the table with it like a toddler.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this isn't a note about the bio specifically, just a little fun bit that came up is Gwen yields Hallowed Mist, and Viego controls Black Mist, and Senna controls a fun combination of the two, neither hallowed nor black.
Oh.
I didn't know the Senna thing.
You know.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to jump into The Stranger Who Sews.
Sure, I can do this one as well. It's the actuals are short. It's by Michael Luo, which is a name we've seen a few times now. Gwen has kind of left the Shadow Isles where she woke up, and she has tracked the Black Mist out to the quote-unquote Western continent, which I assume just means like Valoran, probably. Who knows? She sees a pair of like kids, and they're playing with dolls outside their home, and then the mist shows up, and it's full of wraiths, and she fights off the wraiths and saves the kids, and their mother comes out and thanks them, and Gwen, just is like, oh, she appreciates or is warmed by seeing the love that the mother and children share, and fixes their dolls that got broken up in the scuffle, and she moves on. It's mostly it, right?
Yeah. There was one thing I liked about this, and it was that there were just some boys playing with dolls, and there was no comment on that. That was nice.
Yeah. So you mentioned that we've seen this name a few other times. Do you happen to know off the top of your head?
I think
what else he did.
I want to say he did some of the Akali stuff, because we saw him really recently on something else too. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm willing to say, not remembering necessarily what his other stories were, this wasn't his best. Yeah, there were a lot of, I don't know if I'd call them tonal inconsistencies, but there was a bunch of things in this that stuck out to me as being weird or out of place, which doesn't happen a whole lot because, I usually just read shit and enjoy it and whatever. It's if something sticks out, it's weird to me.
Well, I'd like to hear an example now. I wasn't fully invested when I was reading this, so I can't think of an example really of what you're thinking. I mean, it's a very short story as well, so.
Yeah, I thought the dialogue was kind of all the dialogue instances to me felt kind of weird, or I don't know if it's just weird or hokey. The way okay, hit some examples. Yeah. Maybe this will help illuminate it.
The one thing I'm thinking of now is there's some dialogue exchange with the mom at the end that I didn't understand.
Yeah, I probably wrote that down.
Okay.
So I'm going to start. I'll start at the beginning. Their contorted claw. I already fucked up. Their contorted hands claw for life under the weight of piercing screams. The boys drop their toys and run. Gwen cannot bear to hear their cries. Not those of the Black Mist. That she's heard many times, but of the children. I feel like if you have to write your story in a way that you have to specify who you're referring to in your own sentence, it strikes me as very anime over-explaining. I did not like it.
Oh, that didn't stand out to me. I don't know.
Interesting.
Oh, she couldn't bear to hear their screams. Not these screams. Just to clarify, it was these other screams that she couldn't bear to hear.
Yeah, I think the delivery of it is kind of awkward, maybe. I understand the idea of what's being communicated, but...
Yeah. I feel like all you had to do was describe the sounds that the wraiths were making in literally any word but scream, and that clarification wouldn't have been necessary.
I mean, I guess you could say maybe it's trying to also inform us about, Gwen not feeling any trepidation, let's say, around fighting the mist, but I think that's communicated in the way she's acting already, which is all itself a little... It kind of seems almost conflict with some of her inner monologue, because she seems very pained and affected by just the mist approaching. It talks about this feeling of just feeling pain, and that's the first thing is she feels it approaching. But then she's taunting the wraiths. She's like, haha, were you scared to come fight me? And she's fighting them in her own mist, and she's laughing as she's in a very genuine oh, I'm having a good time kind of way, which seems to run contrary to what how serious we're supposed to be taking this threat to these kids. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's more of a problem than this one line. I don't know, this line didn't stand out to me, John. I think if anything, it's trying to kind of punch in the idea that, how much screaming's happening. This combination of the children and the, these kind of I guess, piercing wails of darkness or whatever the hell the black mist does.
God, I feel like there's so many better ways to
I don't
do
know.
that.
This didn't bother me. I was fine with this.
I hated it.
Okay. Well, you're the writer here.
Speaking of Gwen's protective fog, there's a line that said, "Soon, Gwen is shrouded by a protective fog." But was she? Because they then go on to say that the wraiths just fucking walk into it. Exactly what protection is it offering? I feel like it's clearly an attempt to meld like gameplay into the story, but if you want to do that, you should really have one of the wraiths trying to hit you with some sort of projectile attack that the shroud protected you from, because as is, they just fucking walk into it and keep attacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like it's just it's almost like she's like bluffing them out, right? The way it's portrayed that, they're kind of scared to go in and one is brave enough to go in. But it seems like if they all just went in there, what's the mechanical difference, right, of that fog being there exactly?
Mm-hmm. So one of the two dialogue things with the mom, we'll go with the first one. "My darlings, I'm so glad you're safe," she says, tears flowing down her face. "Excuse me, miss," Gwen says politely. "Who are you?" "Oh, you'll have to forgive me," the woman replies. "Where are my manners?" She wipes her eyes, sees Gwen in full for the first time, and hesitates. So was the mother not watching her fight the Shroud of Monsters?
This fucked me up a lot. I had to reread it a couple of times because I thought the mom was going to introduce herself. They also kind of almost built it up that the mom was going to be someone important or something, and I was like, oh, I don't even know who she is. And then the kid just says, "She's my mom, duh," afterwards.
And that I have also as something that I hated.
Yeah, I also don't. But yeah, and what is making her hesitate about Gwen, I guess? Like, sure, if I saw a Gwen IRL, that would freak me out. Bitch, you're in Runeterra.
Also,
Gwen's not the weirdest thing walking around.
Yeah, the way it's portrayed is almost like the mom had no idea what was going on outside, but she clearly did, because she came out crying knowing that her kids were in danger. So if she knew her kids were in danger, she clearly saw what was going on and saw this giant blue-haired lady with the giant scissors. So how is it a surprise to her? Like, oh, wait a minute, you're a giant blue-haired lady with scissors.
Yeah.
And how is this kid in the right headspace to throw sass at fucking Gwen after almost being destroyed by these wraiths?
Mm-hmm.
And see her so expertly handle it, right? Yeah.
And it's just, they just be scared. And that almost felt like an instance where someone was writing a kid and they never met a child ever in their lives.
They saw one decon 20 years ago.
Writing children is really, really difficult, and you can like seriously tell when someone hasn't been around children very much.
I think maybe these are the things that was causing a lot of, like I said, the dialogue in particular was what felt very awkward to me, stilted maybe. I feel like I just don't really, I feel as though I'm missing the point of what is this discussion around, because she has a little back and forth with the mom around, there you do have a magic, love. And is it just supposed to be like, I don't know, is it that she sees Isolde as like a mother figure and that's what she's supposed to be feeling in that moment?
Who knows?
It's a little unclear.
I wrote down that bit too.
Oh, yeah.
Magic? What magic? A boy asks. Well, I'm not entirely sure, Gwen thinks aloud, but the person who had that magic was my maker, you see, and the sacrifices she made came from a very special place. A joyful, loving place. Gwen turns to the woman. Your mother might know. The woman and her children stare back at Gwen confused. Yeah, I get it, woman and her children. I'm confused too.
Yeah.
Is she implying that all love comes with the ability to bring dolls to life, which it seemed like she was kind of implying here, which clearly the mother's love wasn't good enough for.
Rarely hear this tone come from John. You sound like you're in a frustrating meeting at work. It's really funny. Sometimes I'll be in the other room and I'll hear this tone come from John and I'm like, oh God, what's going on? Someone fucked up at work.
These motherfuckers been talking about love for 30 minutes. It's 5 o'clock on a Friday.
He really didn't like this story.
No, I totally get that. It's weird. I think, like you said, that reaction is what the audience is feeling, where it's like, what are we talking about right now? What am I supposed to be feeling and reacting to in this? I think that's the biggest question, where I feel confused more than anything.
Yeah, it's a really pointless story.
I'm really curious if someone gave him like a debrief, like, oh, we're going to release all this shit. It's going to be all about the power of love and all this stuff. We need you to write a short story that really highlights that. So then he did. And they were like, psych, we canceled all that other shit. Now you're going to look dumb.
I mean,
it's
I don't
just
know.
like, it's hard to write something about something that like corny and cliche in general. Just like the power of love saves all. Like that gets rough. So you got to do it. You got to do it in a way that's more compelling than this.
Especially because what a buck wild message to be giving in the middle of the fucking Ruination event where
oh my God,
Viego is just destroying the world in the name of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit, you're right.
She's really not good at stopping the black mist, okay?
The message should really be hatred will save you.
Yeah.
Love. Within reason.
Yeah. You know what? I just think that maybe if that was the idea you wanted to come across with, maybe taking Gwen away from being so much the focus and having the mom do a little something else. Instead of feeling as though she's just waiting off, stage right for when like her scene comes. It's like, oh, maybe she's protecting the kids, or maybe she stops like a wraith and it's like, I don't know shit about magic. And it's like, well, you got something, right?
Oh,
something,
yeah,
anything, right?
That would be good. The mom like trying to fight, just as
that's
viciously,
the power of love.
but with her, her hands. She doesn't have magic scissors.
Yeah,
and a shroud that stops every projectile. It's stupid as bullshit. Please take it out of the game.
And you can move it once just in case shit gets wild.
My God!
And it gives you bonus MR and armor and just all that good shit, right?
Can you tell I play Lux?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So what does she mean when she says that Isolde's, gifts were given? Like she mentions like sacrifice with things Isolde did. Is that just parts of that story I don't know? Because it seems to be to me that she didn't really sacrifice a lot when it came to you, Gwen. I mean, maybe her dignity when she was playing, under the table at 25, but beyond that, I don't know. Or is she speaking more broadly?
Know. She took a dagger for Viego, right?
That is true.
Do that.
Did she like Viego? I don't really know much about their whole story.
It seems like she probably did. There's kind of like either she wasn't as into him as he was into her vibe, or like just maybe over time things weren't as happy as they were. But she did seem to dig him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good thing we should discuss on a Ruination episode, right? Because that would help. I don't know.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts about the story.
Yeah. Tell us how you really feel, John.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan either.
Now she has a bunch of quotes, and the quotes. She has a lot of quotes from people that are tied to the Ruination, which makes a lot of sense. And then out of nowhere, she just has these fucking quotes towards Seraphine that are so goddamn catty.
Why? They just had to throw some girl hate in there for no reason?
Yeah.
People already hate Seraphine.
I think that's why.
Can we take
I
a
think
breath?
people don't like Seraphine, so they're like...
I think
they thought it'd be fun. Wow, that's really
shit's a meme, dog.
So out of character.
Yeah, that's not a Gwen thing.
A stage, a voice. Is that really all you are?
What the fuck?
And then when she kills her,
a pretty voice, Seraphine. What a shame that's all you were.
Jesus.
I think it's especially funny because, clearly it was all right, maybe we fucked up with the Seraphine story. People didn't like it. But having this taunt come from Gwen of all people, it clearly felt like, all right, we fucked up with Seraphine, but Gwen, goddamn home run. She's going to be the one to deliver this death blow to Seraphine.
Man, oof. That's a big oof right there, man.
That's a really big oof, Riot. What the hell, man?
I don't know. I didn't care for Gwen's VO that much either. Not like the voice work. The voice work is fine. I just think that she
Yeah.
hits. You mentioned Galio earlier, and that's kind of the thing, is that her story, in terms of what her like personality is, it hits a lot of the same things, but Galio sells it like 100 times more, right? I believe Galio's excited when he's talking through his quotes. A lot of it misses for me, I guess I would say.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Galio stands out a lot more too. Gwen didn't feel special or original or particularly interesting. And I was trying to separate it from Viego and the Ruination because in general, it's just not my kind of story, and that's fine. But I can get down with like a doll who was so loved in creation that she came alive, but I didn't feel that at any point. I just didn't feel it. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like all the pieces together were kind of like a resounding meh for me.
Resounding meh, yeah?
Yeah. That's a pretty accurate description, I have to say.
The meh seamstress, Gwen.
Yeah. Oh man.
Meh lady.
Yeah.
The couch for you tonight, John.
It was worth it.
The couch.
Now, Gwen has a couple cinematics to go along with her, too. One of them's canon. It's basically a cinematic that answers no additional questions about Gwen or how she came to be, other than she was hit by a blast of magic light Isolde powers underwater at some point.
Cool.
Dope.
But she's much more important. She's also part of the Exploration cinematic. Now, this was part of the Space Groove skin line. And not only should you watch this cinematic, you should watch it high. Do it.
Okay.
I mean, I think you can love it stone sober.
Consume cannabis responsibly.
You can watch it sober, too.
He said high on life, right? Let's be clear.
So yeah, I unless people have some last Gwen thoughts, I can throw us into some AUs. And when I say some AUs, I mean one. She has one skin.
Voice actress is Abby Trott, just to get that credit out there. And
no shade to you, Abby. Your voice was great. It wasn't a.
Yeah, I think it's certainly the writing is what I'm trying to complain about when it says she doesn't sell me. It's just that the lines don't. There's not like Gwen feels very muddled, I think, in terms of her personality, and she doesn't have nearly as strong of a thrust as like a Galio does, and the lore doesn't help fill her out. So, yeah.
All right,
That's
give us
it.
that space groove.
All right. So if you have ever played Space Channel 5 on the Sega, this is the skin line basically based on that.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know
dog.
that. I didn't have a Sega. We were Nintendo people.
So this lore, in a groovy galaxy a million disco infernos away, a mysterious energy known only as the Groove brings music and prosperity to trillions of galactic citizens. But when the alien overlord Lysandra and her army of harsh vibes begin to enslave planets and suppress disco music, a new age of heroes rises to stop her and keep the party grooving. Each champion in the skin line, by the way, has a kind of like a pet familiar, kind of like the Star Guardian ones, but they're called boogies.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Most of them have names. Gwen's actually one of the only ones without a name.
Oh.
Also, Lysandra is the main antagonist of this entire storyline. Does not have a space group.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, wait, Lysandra, does she have a space group? Is that going to come out in the future? I hope so.
Hopefully.
Because that'd be a really unique skin for her. I feel like Lysandra has really similar skins, but like a funky.
You need a goofy Lysandra skin.
Yeah, that would be
fun.
great.
Yeah, agreed.
Imagine that, ha! Coming out of her with the space groove skin.
So, Space Groove Gwen. It was pretty far out when Gwen applied to be Lux and Samir's quartermaster. After all, no one else did. Cheerfully sewing good vibes into great clothes, she amplifies disco energy through her nifty threads. Though she's new to this whole galactic hero gig, one thing's for sure. No way Gwen's gonna let her friends liberate the galaxy in less than stellar outfits.
Nice.
Yeah. You know what this makes me want from Riot, from their like Riot Forge publishing little group, is I want a rhythm game, kind of like think like Crypt of the Necrodancer, something that's not just like a DDR thing. And then think of all the worlds, like they have all these AUs they can leverage for this fucking pentakill. Oh man, you could do so much shit with that. Riot, please.
I do need Riot.
Want
I want it too. I want it to be slightly different than Crypt of the Necrodancer because I really suck at that game.
Just something like that, right? Something that takes a rhythm game and puts it in a weird like genre or something. Just something to make it, nice and interesting.
I really liked Stepmania back in the day. But this would be the first, I think the only other non-League Riot game that I would play. I haven't played any of the others. I haven't been interested.
So I have just a handful of fun facts about Gwen.
Nice.
She is the second heterochromatic champion to be released after Zoe. So she has 2 different color eyes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Her dance goes along to the song Pon 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 by Kieri Pamu Pamu. In case you want to...
I'm assuming that's a K-pop star.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like it's been a minute. Maybe I just don't know all of the new champion dances, but I know that used to be the case for like all of the champion dances, and then they stopped doing that. But are they bringing it back? Maybe they've been doing that recently.
Oh yeah, they're bringing it back, baby.
Dope. I love it.
Now, I know you can't see the dance over the podcast, but just imagine Gwen dancing, and it's to this.
I always imagine Gwen dancing.
Okay.
And last fact, in her...
Mark, what the hell was I always imagine Gwen dancing. Take a second for that to sink in. Sorry, John. Go ahead with your last fun fact.
Last fun fact. In her base official splash art, you can see Sown Chaos Amumu and Blitzcrank in the background, which were the 2 Sown Chaos skins that were on PBE but never actually ended up getting released.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's neat.
Oy.
So that's all the notes I have for Gwen. I am curious if we're going to get a post-Ruination short story, kind of like we got in the Bilgewater event, how we got like that slew of short stories that took place after the event. I'm curious if we're going to get some of those for Gwen. I really hope so. It would make sense.
Well, let's see. If that happens, maybe we will do a Ruination episode. Because as of right now, I'm sure we could bitch for about an hour about the Ruination event. I'd have to go and actually read it all because I've started skipping them because I just want the icons. I don't care about the story anymore.
Yeah, I think if they have a really impactful like denouement, at the end of it all, then that might be a good reason. But that's very up in the air. I hope they do. It seems like they're getting a lot of feedback about it, and my hope is that it pushes them to at least try and take a more a better narrative thrust. I don't know with how they do the lore going forward here.
Yeah, and I will say, because I know you have strong thoughts about the Ruination event as a whole. I think the in-client lore, as a result of playing the game, that's the thing that I have the most problem with. The rest of the parts of the event, I've been digging. The cinematics, fucking cool as hell. There's a lot of potential here outside of the client stuff.
Yeah, well, like I said, it seems like, Riot is, in some ways, I don't want to blanket statement, but I think they're pretty good about, when people don't like a thing, they're at least aware of it. And
they're definitely made aware of it.
yeah, exactly. So all we can hope for is, like I said, that they pivot and course correct.
Yeah.
We'll see. All
right. Any final thoughts on Gwen?
No. I'm sorry that the first 2021 champion ended up being not so great. It's not my fault, but still.
Okay, but that is it for Gwen. Thank you for listening. We have a Twitter. We're at Loreheads. And we also post these on YouTube if you ever want to chat with us there. John and I do another podcast where we watch the highest rated movie and the lowest rated movie and franchise and chat about them. This time we actually did just all of the DCOMs We looked up the highest and lowest rated Disney Channel original movie and did that, and that was a lot of fun. And be sure to join us next week as we talk about The Shadow of War, Hecro.